Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Rom. Hi and welcome to a developer update for the HiGPS balance mod for April. Now in March I said I was going to do demo night and figuring out how to make that viable. But then 1st of April happened and I spent the rest of the month making a joke version of everything. Check that out in the previous video. We will have events like that in the future as well. So let's see what's new for the April month. What have we been doing here? Spywalk is finally implemented properly, so all you have to do is bind your plus attack 3 to a key. I like to use shift, so now whenever you hold down shift, you will run at the speed of a spy regardless of your disguise. Next up is a nerf for a sniper. Headshot damage on quickscopes have been reduced to 140 instead of 150. So this is going to change some interactions, and this basically means snipers have to stay in scope longer, which means they have to do what snipers are supposed to do more. This also changes the hold down damage done by the hitman's heatmaker while in focus. Instead of being 225, it's now to 214. Moving on to Scout, there's only been one change for the Scout, and that is the Babyface's blaster has reverted back to having a meter. However, the lower jump height, slower reload speed still remains. So now you run slower when you get to someone, and when you see the enemy and you shoot them, you will build your boost meter, but you will never lose it. So now the max speed that is acquired on this item is not as fast as the max speed in the official game. Soldier, this was something that was submitted by After Dark, or we mentioned him in a video or something, and that is that the buff banner doesn't have a secondary function. If you look at the other backpacks for the soldier, the battalion's backup and the conjure all does things in addition to providing the meter and the buff. So now we just added 40% additional ammo for primary weapons. This is also by After Dark, and that is the disciplinary action is basically free speed, and the way we've entangled free speed before is loss of health. So now it will drain the same way that the gloves are running urgently does, except that the gloves are running urgently drains at a rate by 10. This drains by a rate of 8. And the shovel has been reverted back to normal. On to Pyro, the Phlog has had its flame size increased by 250. So keep in mind that the Phlog no longer crits, it only mini crits. The Manmelter is a weapon that has been shit for so long, and it remains shit regardless of how many attributes I plop on it. So in addition to having faster projectile speed and faster firing speed that we added in the past, it now does afterburn a little different. It will do less afterburn, but it will do afterburn faster. So you will have 4 ticks of 10 instead of many ticks of 4, accumulating to 50 damage. Now you will do 40 instead. However, if a target is already burning and you hit them with this, they will tick for 10 damage instead of 4. So say that there's another pyro on your team and they have shot a flare at them, and then you shoot your flare right after, then they will take the full afterburn duration for 50 damage. So that means this weapon is now closer to being as good as the flare gun, just in a different way. And if you are lucky enough to get those crits, because those crits are dependent on the enemy team having a pyro, and if the enemy team doesn't have a pyro, the weapon would have been absolutely screwed regardless. So with this afterburn effect, if you hit someone with a crit, it's just bonus for you, good damage, and you feel good about yourself. The Backscratcher now grants overheal when you are holding it. If you are at 1 health and you hold it and you pick up a large health kit, you will get full overheal from it. And then just regular overheal from doing it with the smaller health pack. Gas Passer has gotten a huge buff twice now. So first we upped the damage to 50, it didn't feel that powerful, so now we have upped it to 75. So people who are used to how the Gas Passer works in MVM, that is now closer to how it works on our balance mod. So players will now explode for 75 damage, and you will be able to do cascading and stuff, and you can also push people back in and do all sorts of crazy stuff with this weapon. It is now good. The Sharpened Volcano Fragment has been changed to be closer to the Extinguisher. So it now does more damage than the Extinguisher, except when you hit somebody with the flare or they have a very long afterburn duration, then the Extinguisher will do more damage and extinguish and give you a speed boost, all that normal stuff. But the Sharpened Volcano Fragment will now be multi-hit more damage because they don't stop burning. Now onto the heavy. The Huo-long heater is a weapon that doesn't really feel that you're doing all that much damage, so now we made it kind of Maybe too good, because now it mini crits burning targets instead of just doing more damage, which means that the way we have offset the damage is that it's the same point blank, but then more further away because how damage fall off with mini crits work. So we're still gonna see how strong this is, and now with the additional pyros and especially with the introduction of the gas passer, this is gonna be a very, very lethal team combo. Onto the Dalokosh bar, the eating speed has been increased by 100%, so now you will eat delicious bar of chocolate pretty darn quick.
That was delicious.
And this is to give it a fighting chance alongside the banana and the sandwich. Well, it heals less and you have to eat it more often, now you spend less time eating it. The warrior spirit has gotten 40% slower deploy time, given that it has longer range, does bleed damage, and more damage. And this stacks with the buffalo steak sandwich, so we kind of just lock it in a bit more with that combo, so it's not such a strong weapon on of itself. Fist of Steel has gotten the healing taken, while active reduced by 70%, while still remaining the old stats, so you're still able to get fully overhealed. It now takes a while. Now on to the medic that probably has the most game-changing changes in this patch, and that is that the Vita-saw is now a melee version of the Crusader's crossbow. Because as of the game is right now, which we saw in the Medic's Basics episode, is that there is no reason to run any other secondary unlock than the crossbow and no other melee unlock than the Uber-saw. Because these two work so well together, there's really no reason to do anything else, and that leaves you at a disadvantage, and that's not balanced if there is two choices and a combination that is the best. So now that the Vita-saw gives 50 health on teammate hit as well as 3% Uber, it will also swing 20% slower and do 20% less damage, so it's a very bad self-defense tool. And because the syringe gun gives Uber on hit, you can now swap the slots and still have the same thing happen, where you have burst heal for melee and then Uber gain on your ranged weapons. However, this also pairs pretty well with the overdose if you use the Vita-saw overdose, because the overdose allows you to run faster and to get close the gap and heal people with the Vita-saw. And because of this, now that it's either use the Vita-saw or Uber-saw and the combination, we've decided to buff the other melee unlocks as well to keep up with the power creep of these weapons being so good, because I'm very fond of making everything good instead of nerfing things into uselessness. So the bone saw is basically just the damage version of a melee unlock for the medic, and it will now deal 10 seconds of bleed and deploy 75% faster, which means that the DPS is the same, but the start time to do the damage is a lot faster, 75% faster actually. The amputator has gotten a buff as well, as it helps the medic stay alive and heal a bunch of guys with the alternate taunt. It now drops a health pack when an enemy is killed, further doing the health regen thing a bit better. Solemn Vow, because the overdose gives a speed boost, this will now give a speed boost as well. While the overdose sits at 10%, the Solemn Vow now sits at 15% while active. And as per now, it is no other downsides, so it's just 10% slower swing speed. You can see enemy health and run 15% faster, making it a good escape tool if you want to use the crossbow. So that is going to conclude the balance changes for April. Haven't had anything planned for May yet, but we will see what comes up as we continue to develop this, because I now understand why some developers will tell you that we won't tell you what you're working on, because I had the idea that I'm going to work on shields and try to make that viable, but then all this other stuff that you're seeing is way more interesting than making shields good. So be sure to join the Steam group for the announcements of the play sessions, as well as the Discord, and you can now join YouTube and be a member. There currently are only the server slot reservation perk, so you can have a reservation on the server, but the server is hardly ever full because we're growing the community and we're doing this, and we have servers in Europe, US, and Asia, so we will try to do all of them. But keep in mind, I'm in Europe and my time is limited, unfortunately. But thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in some of our play sessions. And my hat's cool.